5 days before the crucial Iowa caucuses, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley will face off tonight in Des Moines to make their pitch to voters as the best alternative to Donald Trump, who they don't talk about, who again is refusing to participate. He will instead hold a competing town hall. Something wrong here. Trump, meanwhile, is returning to his birther conspiracy tactics. On social media on Monday, Trump shared an article from a far-right news website claiming former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley is ineligible to be president because her parents were not U.S. citizens at the time of her birth. Haley was born in South Carolina to parents who legally emigrated from India several years earlier. The article shared by Trump, who is the son of a Scottish immigrant, married to an immigrant, flies in the face of the 14th Amendment, which states, quote, all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens. John Heilman.
Hi, Mika. I mean, my goodness, it's good to know Donald Trump is an equal opportunity bigot. He goes after, doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican, male, female, doesn't matter. He can apply his racist conspiracy theories to anyone, as simple country lawyer Joe Scarborough said earlier today. Just kind of radiates the notion that Trump has some concerns about Nikki Haley, which I think are mostly tied to New Hampshire. I've got Steve Kornacki sitting here.
Good.
And, He's sitting at the table, not at the board, but we can still do some work here. Steve, I am about to, I know you have a bunch of things to talk about here, but I'm about to go to Iowa tomorrow. I will say that in all the presidential campaigns that I've covered, all the primaries caucuses, the Iowa caucuses this year and the Republican side have been more tedious and more static than any time I've ever seen in the past. You basically have had 6 months in which Trump's around 50, no one's above 20, Haley and DeSantis, bumping along. That's basically been the story. And normally in Iowa, you get the late surge. No late surge, at least so far, and we're 5 days out. So tell me about what you think about what's going on in Iowa, this battle for second place between Haley and DeSantis, and what impact that might have on the rest of the race.
Yeah, and I guess the one thing we got to say is we have had sort of a period here without a lot of new polling in Iowa. So, and that is going to change in a couple days. NBC News, there's a cheap plug here, but this is a good poll. The Des Moines Register poll, Ann Selzer, who's one of the best regarded in the industry, going to have a final readout in Iowa. So we'd say, let's see if there's any movement in that. But I hear what you're saying. It really has been locked in place. There were all sorts of theories that Trump, with the legal challenges being off the campaign trail, that was going to hurt him. Skipping the debates was going to insult Iowa voters. That hasn't hurt him yet either. So a lot of the stuff that was supposed to, you thought, bring him down just hasn't brought him down. And I think one thing that's happened here, too, was the whole premise of the DeSantis campaign really was not that Republicans were going to suddenly dislike Donald Trump, but that they were going to look at him and they were going to say, you know what, we like him, but it's time to move on because he can't win. And I think what's really complicated DeSantis' argument is we're seeing polls now with Donald Trump doing better against Joe Biden than he ever did against Biden, ever did against Hillary. So it's just taking that sort of pragmatic argument away from DeSantis. But yeah, you talk about that battle for second. Look, for DeSantis, it's almost a life and death thing because he's kind of gone all in on Iowa here, and he's got to have something to show for it. For Haley, it's more of a potential slingshot effect because you mentioned New Hampshire. It's a very, very different state. We could talk about it. But if there's a state right now where it's not that hard to see Trump taking a loss, it's New Hampshire. And the candidate who would do it is Nikki Haley. And it would only help her if she gets headlines out of Iowa saying, she got second. She kind of put away DeSantis. Maybe it's a stronger than second, expected second, that kind of thing.
I mean, it's funny because as you were just pointing out the other day when we were on the air, Iowa was where Trump fell short with Ted Cruz. And we all thought for a couple days there, maybe Trump, the whole thing has been overstated. Then he ran the board in New Hampshire and then was off to the races. It's kind of the opposite around this time. It's Trump's managed to get hold of all those evangelical voters in Iowa. Has been very stable with them. DeSantis has tried, a million things, hasn't gotten anywhere. But Haley is really on the rise in New Hampshire. Unlike Iowa, she has got real momentum, and there's a couple polls that now have them getting close to the margin of error with, Haley back by about 10. It looks like New Hampshire is the place where, especially if she were to win, if she would be second in Iowa, you could really see a fight up there.
Yeah, the problem for Haley, though, is, yes, I agree. Like, I could see her winning New Hampshire. But the problem is, demographically, in the context of the National Republican Party, New Hampshire is an extreme outlier. The primary up there is so entrenched in the state's culture that, first of all, you get enormous turnout for this primary. And it's not just Republicans or Democrats. independent voters can vote, and they turn out at massive levels. I mean, we are expecting that Republican electorate for the primary in New Hampshire is going to be about 50% independent. We've seen that number go higher in the past, in fact. And that's the group she does the best with. She does by far the best with independents, with non-Republicans, and with Republicans who are hostile to or skeptical of Donald Trump. In a demographic mix like New Hampshire, that could get you a win. But New Hampshire, but put it this way, if it's a 50% independent electorate in New Hampshire, what is it in Iowa? Maybe 15 to 20.
Yeah, right.
What is it in South Carolina? Maybe 20. It's just a very different state.
Is there a path ahead for DeSantis if he comes in third in Iowa? Or must he come in second in order to even stay alive?
It's hard to see, but so much of the DeSantis campaign, it seems, has been premised on something goes wrong with Trump and DeSantis is there to pick up the pieces, and nothing like that has happened so far on the Republican side. But I don't know if he would stay in the mix, still seeing if maybe Haley gets the win in New Hampshire, maybe Trump starts to unravel, maybe he's there. But it's hard to see given the message he's been putting out there, the voters he's been targeting, the time he spent in Iowa, the endorsements he's gotten there. If he's finishing third in Iowa, it's hard to see him taking that and saying, hey, we got something to show for this.
Yeah, Adrian, just thinking about New Hampshire and Nikki Haley and Donald Trump, it seems to me that, I guess Steve makes a good point. They could be running out the clock to see what happens with him legally and then step in. Yep. But they don't want to step on his toes. Why? They might become his vice presidential candidate, or they don't want to step on his toes because they don't want to turn off his voters. But in a state like New Hampshire, would a solid response to his attacks work for Nikki Haley? Would it have an impact, given that she's gaining a little bit there?
Absolutely. I think if you're Nikki Haley, you want to look at every single opportunity to get more independents, more moderate Republicans on your side. So given the latest immigration attack that Donald Trump just threw on her, you would think she should have responded immediately. She should at least respond today. But I think looking at the long-term game for Nikki Haley, obviously Kornacki's analysis is spot on. If she does get second in Iowa, and by the way, I also think a very strong third place finish, a very close third place finish also gets her to a good place, and she can either get a strong second or even possibly win New Hampshire, she has real credibility to stay in this race. She's got Koch brothers funding behind her. She's got a lot of tech companies and tech entrepreneurs that are giving her money.
That would all ratchet up.
It would. If she can consolidate the base, if other people will drop out, and she can really consolidate all the anti-Trump voters in the primary, then it does give her staying power, because you look at Super Tuesday states, you look at a lot of the other primaries coming up. We have to remember these are not winner-take-all states. Right. You divide the votes based on where the vote is coming from. That's how you get your delegates. So if she can have real credibility to stay in the race, and I think she can actually have a decent shot here. We'll see. All
right, NBC's Steve Kornacki, always great to have you on. Thank you so much for being on this morning. And coming up.